Alrighty guys, we're back for some underplayed mono white, and this is a March of the Machine, the Aftermath, Standard Brew. We're gonna go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked, but first things first, for anyone who may not know, I'm Red Cat and I play aggro decks and any decks with red in them as well, so I hope that sounds fun to ya. Also, we do got that Discord link down in the description if you're interested in joining that up. Okay, what do we got in the build here? First of all, I want to say it's called underplayed, not never played, right? So these are all cards that I personally think we just don't see enough of, or as much as we should, right? Now, obviously, we're cheating in the mana base. I got a couple Mishra's Foundries over here. I think it's going to be important in this deck, especially with all the board wipe control that we're seeing right now. We got a Mirrex because I've been having a lot of success with Mirrex recently, and a Seat of the Empire. And the most played white card, we got 20 Plains as well, right? And some cards that you might consider, like, I guess, kind of sort of played, but I personally think they're so ridiculously powerful that they're still underplayed. Serra Paragon, man. 4 mana, 3/4 with flying. Once during each of your turns, you may play a land from your graveyard or cast a permanent spell from your graveyard with mana value 3 or less. If you do, it gains when this permanent is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, exile it, and you gain 2 life. Very powerful creature, guys. It really is. So it's going to pair beautifully with some of these other underplayed mono white cards like Selfless Samurai, dude. It's a 2 mana 2/2. Whenever a samurai or a warrior you control attacks alone, it gains a lifelink until end. Now, it is a samurai in and of itself, so that does include itself, right? While we do have another warrior in here to work with the Selfless Samurai, we're really looking at this for the bottom ability. Sacrifice Selfless Samurai. I apologize, guys. That's really hard for me to say for some reason. Another target creature you control gains indestructible until end of turn. Nice, dude. So that'll help us against Depopulate, but I am very concerned about the Sunfall builds. Either way, I still think it's underplayed, man. So we got another warrior in here to work with that top ability. Mothrider Patrol, just a 1 mana 1/1 with flying. Nothing too special, but it is a warrior, so it does work if we're attacking in alone. Also, just having 1-drop flyers happens to be pretty decent. Now, obviously, something like a Phoenix Chick that has haste, that's a little bit more decent, right? But at least Mothrider Patrol can block too, so... Also has this bottom ability. I don't know how often it's going to come into play. For 3 and a white, you can tap this, tap target creature. Okay, sure. Like I said, don't know how often that comes into play, but you never know. Dude, Elspeth Smite. How often have I been saying that this is just an underplayed piece of removal? 1 mana, instant speed, deals 3 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. 3 damage, man. Man, for 1 mana. I'll tell you what, dude, this could be a really cool combat trick as well. So definitely just keep your eye on this card in general. Like, where is it? Where is this card, man? Why is no one at least trying this out, right? So, okay, Swooping Lookout is a 1 mana, 1/2 flying vigilance. It is an artifact creature too, which, by the way, I almost went for like the whole artifact theme. But then I wanted to get like a generic mono white aggro build going instead of something with like an artifact theme, you know what I mean? So yeah, dude, flying vigilance, that's 2 keywords on a 1/2 flyer. Not bad, man. And I'll tell you what, I think all the flying is gonna really come in handy here. Okay, Invasion of Gobakhan. One of the reasons the flying is gonna come in handy, it's gonna help us flip this battle siege, huh? So it's a 2 mana, 3 defense counters. When Invasion of Gobakhan enters the battlefield, look at target opponent's hand. You may exile a non-land card from it. For as long as that card remains exiled, its owner may play it. A spell cast this way costs 2 more to cast. So you know how I'm concerned about those Sunfalls? Yeah, make the Sunfall 7 mana, and all of a sudden, you're wrapping up the game before they can drop that Sunfall. So, Invasion of Gobakhan. Where is this card, man? What on earth? We have all 4 of them. Because when this does flip, it flips into Light Shield Array, which is really powerful. At the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature that attacked this turn. Then it has the bottom ability too, sacrifice Light Shield Array. Creatures you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Dude, absolutely disgusting. And like I said, we got these 8 1-drop flyers. If we have like 3 of these on the board and they're getting counters every turn from the light shield array and we're flying in too, it's pretty gross, man. It's pretty gross. A couple more 2-drops to go over. Sungold Sentinel is a 2 mana 3/2, enters the battlefield or attacks. It used to see more play. Anyways, let me finish reading it. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. This could be great if we're seeing those tracks of builds, which we're really not seeing as many of recently, at least. So it has a Coven here, which I don't think the Coven's going to be too hard to activate. For 1 and a white, you choose a color. Sungold Sentinel gains hexproof from that color until end of turn and can't be blocked by creatures of that color this turn. So that could be another great way to like flip the Invasion of Gobakhan, right? Activate only if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers. Okay, we have a couple Fleeting Spirits here. This is a 2 mana 3/1. For 1 white mana, you can exile 3 cards from your graveyard. Fleeting Spirit gains first strike until end of turn. Now, we're not really thinking of that top ability too often. I don't think we do it at all in this build, honestly. Not when we have Serra Paragon on the top end. Really looking at it for that bottom ability. So you can discard a card. Fleeting Spirit is... Oh, sorry, guys. I'm struggling reading these because we just don't see them ever. So discard a card. Exile Fleeting Spirit. Return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So this could be a great way to get around, yep, the Sunfall builds again, right? So, you know, exiling it, their opponents try to exile it, you exile it instead, and then at least it comes back. I think this is actually just like a pretty good card, but we literally never see it. So maybe I'm just wrong, but 3 mana card, guys. Annex Sentry, what are you doing here, bro? Now, obviously, we see this in toxic builds, but I personally think we just don't see it enough. It's kind of, sort of does the thing that Brutal Cathar is doing, not as well, but Brutal Cathar's a 2/2, and we're seeing a lot of mono red, which means that 2/2 gets picked up by, like, all the burn in mono red, like, all of it, dude. Like, the Play with Fire, the Lightning Strikes, I guess, like, End the Festivities doesn't hit it, but it sure does after they get their Mechanized Warfare onto the board, right? So 3 mana, 1/4. It has the toxic one, which we're not worried about. When Annex Sentry enters the battlefield, exile target artifact or creature an opponent controls with mana value 3 or less until Annex Sentry leaves the battlefield. Being a 1/4, it just happens to survive a lot more. So I counted it as underplayed in just like generic builds, like outside of toxic builds. I think it's pretty decent. We got a couple. Mage's Attendant. This is a 3 mana 3/2. When it enters the battlefield, you create a 1/1 blue wizard creature token with pay 1 mana, sacrifice this creature, counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 1. Not bad. It really isn't helping us go wide. It could be pretty good if we have Light Shield Array and we're swinging with a wide board state, buffing it all with counters and whatnot. The wizard could come in handy. I don't know how often it does, but it certainly could, right? Kayla's Command is a 3 mana sorcery speed. You get to choose 2 of these. We've had so much success with Kayla's Command in the past. It's actually kind of ridiculous, dude. I love all the commands. They're so cool. So create a 2/2 colorless construct artifact creature token. Oh, that's another thing, guys. Annex Sentry is an artifact, and we're still seeing a ton of Go for the Throat, so that's good at least, right? Go for the Throat hits Brutal Cathar. It does not hit Annex Sentry, so... Anyways, yeah, you can create that 2/2 construct, or you can put a +1/+1 counter on a creature you control. It gains double strike until end of turn. That could be cool to put on a flyer or something. Or search your library for a basic Plains card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Or you gain 2 life and scry 2. Not bad, guys. For 3 mana, choosing 2 of those is pretty gross. On the top end, excuse me, guys. My goodness, getting a little bit too excited over here. Archangel Elspeth is a 4 mana legendary planeswalker. It has 4 loyalty. It's got a +1 here where you create a 1/1 white soldier creature token with a lifelink. Okay. It's got a -2. You put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature. Becomes an angel in addition to its other types and gains flying. Okay. It's got a -6 here. Return all non-land permanent cards with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So just another way to potentially reanimate a bunch of stuff from your grave. So our 4 drops all have like potential reanimation. Which is just another reason to never use that top ability on Fleeting Spirit, man. And a reminder to never use that top ability on Fleeting Spirit. Okay, honorable mentions, guys. I'm not going to take too long to go over this. I just wanted to bring up that, like, there's a lot of potential cards that we just never see that could have made the list, right? Calamity's Wake was a cool one. Exile all graveyards. Players can't cast non-creature spells this turn. That could be pretty cool to just activate at the beginning of the opponent's turn if we do think Sunfall or Depopulate or something is going to land. But obviously that would be more like a sideboard card. A Chaplain of Alms is a good one. A Cathar Commando could be a cool one to switch out for the Fleeting Spirit. But I think we do see Cathar Commando. Well, I guess it's still probably underplayed, but maybe not. And it's got the flash too. We don't have too much in here to work with the flash. Not a lot of instant speed things, you know. A Lion Sash, a Michigo's Reign of Truth. When I brought up, like, I almost made this an artifact style build, this was one of the cards that would have been considered for the artifact style build, and it happens to be a great card to plug extra damage in with that Swooping Lookout or something. But yeah, not this time around. Also, we're seeing like this being run as a 4 of in Selesnya Enchantments, right? So Planar Disruption seems relatively underplayed. Recommission's a cool one. Extraction Specialist is a neat one. Gavany Dawnguard is a cool one too, man. I guess they're all pretty cool, right? In the Trenches, where the heck's this card? I've had a lot of success with In the Trenches in the past. The Welcome's neat. Welcoming Vampire, yep. Autonomous Assembler, another one I thought about for the artifact style build. And then Boonbringer Valkyrie could have been absolutely insane on the top end, but also could be pretty slow. And sometimes I'm really struggling to actually see 5 mana too, so 24 total land should be enough, and hopefully I didn't ramble too much. This is actually really hard to go over because, yeah, we just don't see these cards too often. Either way, let's go ahead, take this into some ranked, and see how we do. All right, guys, what am I expecting from the build? I'll tell you what. I'm expecting a lot, and I know I probably shouldn't be, but, like, I don't know, like, on paper, you're looking at the deck and you're like, yeah, you know what? This might actually work. Okay, we go first. Nice. Not a terrible hand at all. Yeah, discarding off of Fleeting Spirit and then eventually bringing stuff back with our Serra Paragon and stuff seems really good, huh? We start with Fleeting Spirit. We have Kayla's Command next turn with a crazy amount of double strike, so I think that's pretty good to set up. But we honestly might just go Selfless Samurai, keep the Elspeth Smite open. Would be better if the opponent played a creature, but okay, probably just like Selfless Samurai then, right? Because this could be burned too, so if we target it with the Kayla's Command or something, Annex Sentry is pretty good. Alright, Selfless Samurai. Before combat, because we have the potential of giving the Indestructible then. We could still use the Fleeting Spirit ability too. Which I don't know what we'd want to discard yet, because it's not like we have any of our 4 mana cards in hand, so maybe the Smite, honestly. I think getting rid of Smite to keep Fleeting Spirit around for the turn could be good. Either way, we got the damage through, so go for a Lightning Strike on the Selfless Samurai. Sure. There might be good reasons to let the Lightning Strike fizzle out. I can't think of any right now, but, like, you know, we might as well sacrifice it since it's dying. Okay, wedding announcement. Okay. Unfortunately, the 1/1 blocks well. Annex Sentry's not bad here. Swing for 3. Yeah, not bad. We got the Elspeth Smite open. Doing nothing right now, but we're up against like mono red or something. This Smite would be crazy to keep open. Announcement's gonna get him another 1/1. They have 4 open and they're passing, so it's got to be some kind of like burn, right? If if we go command on anything that could get burnt, like the fleeting, it might be a waste. So it might be worthwhile actually getting the construct off of command. Maybe even thinning the deck with the planes. Grabbing a planes to hand would give us a card to discard for the fleeting spirit. Alright, we're going to start with Selfless Samurai and see what they end up doing. Okay. We could potentially just ditch the Samurai for the Spirit when it comes time. Going wide against these colors should be pretty scary for us, honestly. We probably shouldn't. Yeah, that's super sketchy, isn't it? You know what? I'm still going to go Kayla's command, and instead of going wide, we're going to go counter. And we're going to grab that planes to make sure we can discard it to the Fleeting Spirit if we need to. As for the counter and double strike, I think I'm going to go on to the Fleeting Spirit. Even though we lose the counter if it exiles, we still have Selfless Samurai's ability open here, and what that lets us do is it lets us swing with both creatures as well. So they chump because that's 8 damage on the spirit for the turn, because it has double strike, right? And they take 1 down to 13. Was there a better way to play that? Probably, but I feel like we did I mean, we had a pretty decent turn here, man, overall. Yeah, Wedding Announcement gets them another chump blocker next turn. Wandering Emperor, they want to target Annex Sentry probably, because we're just going to exile the Fleeting Spirit.
I'm home.
I don't know why I wasn't thinking of Wandering Emperor. Yep, so Annex Sentry. Okay.
This is what you get
So
for
how?
hurting my people.
Also, if they were thinking about exiling the Spirit, then they would have obviously chumped the Annex Sentry then to not take the 1. Alright, let's see what ends up happening. Now that Wandering Emperor is on the board, it's got to be like a Sunfall style deck, right? Ambitious Farmhand. Okay, grab a Plains. It's definitely fun just playing with cards that we don't get to play with every day, man. You know what I mean? +1, yeah. Still got 3 mana open, dude. Get another 1/1. The Wedding Festivity has arrived. Another Plains. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad, isn't it? Yeah, that's a lot of Plains. We even thinned the deck with command. Going for it, man. We're just going for the swing. We got Elspeth Smite too, so how do we like who, what, when, where, why? Huh? What do I swing at here, man? Where would the blocks go? Wandering Emperor probably survives. I guess just like face, dude. That's so bad. That's so bad. We're in trouble. Hey, this would have been a great game to see our 8 1-drop flyers, man, huh? Okay. So we go Elspeth's Smite on the farmhand, keep the Foundry around. And now the question is, do we exile Fleeting Spirit, lose that counter, or do we go Selfless Samurai? I guess we could have full swung at Emperor. I guess, right? We could give Burst Strike. that seems pretty bad too, though. You know what? I love it. You know why? Because I said we're probably never going to use this ability. And now we are. In the first game. Oh my goodness. Let's see it. Now, it could be... We could easily waste... Knockout Blow. Nice. Okay. Yeah, we should do this. Discard the planes. Because that fizzles out the blow then, too, so they don't gain even more. So I guess we should have full swung at Wandering Emperor, right? Because the 2 would have gotten through. Fleeting Spirit comes back, and we have no cards in hand, guys. Yeah, seeing all these planes was really bad, wasn't it? Our 6 mana on the board right now, when I think realistically we don't want too many more than 5. Plenty of moment. Hey, Boonbringer Valkyrie, what on earth is going on, dude? What is even happening, man? Okay. They might as well swing with that, right? Because we're completely fizzled out over here, man. That's about as mid-range as it gets. So I think it's over. Yeah, that's a problem too. I really should have gotten rid of the Wandering Emperor last turn, but I don't think it mattered too much. I think this was going to be the opponent's regardless. We will hit the Lightning Strike, sure. Okay, so we still have Foundry. It's still full swing at the Wandering Emperor, but I mean it's over, man. Let's go no attacks and see what the opponent does for the turn. Because I do want to see what's on top, and obviously it looks like they'll be able to wrap up the game too, so we're gonna let them play it out. Okay, 4/4.
Show them how we greet our enemies.
Squee. Okay, I just don't know what we're up against, man. It's Boros like mid-range, I guess. I'm trying to work it out, but yeah, Boros mid-range. That's about all I can say. The Boonbringer Valkyrie. Boros underplayed? No, that would be really funny, though. Nah, Squee's not underplayed, though. Alright, let's go with some blocks here, man. Let's do this. Where do we want to block? So, Valkyrie's getting through. Fleeting Spirit can successfully trade with Squee. This can trade here. Actually, I shouldn't have powered up the Foundry. This trades here. Take 9. I was thinking we were going to need the Foundry, but I mean, this has like first strike too. Also, even if it didn't, trading 2 cards into 1 little token would have been really bad. All the blocks were really bad though anyways. Don't get me wrong, guys, but like we're super dead regardless. That's why we didn't want to power up the Foundry. Punished. Oh, would have been awesome earlier, man. I mean, think about how good this flyer actually would have been earlier. So bring back Squee, right? Nope, they can't actually. Don't have enough. So they want to go +1 on, I guess, farmhand. We chump the 5, that would take 7. At that point, okay, they just go ahead and generate another samurai for next turn then. Okay, we'll block just so we can see one more card off the top, man. Did we have a chance this game? Probably not. I don't think this would have gone either way regardless of the draw. I guess the best bet for us was actually just to see more early. So more of our 8/1 drops would have been really good, huh? Oh, they activated that ability. That's pretty cool. So another Fleeting Spirit. So that's actually our second one. Not bad, man. Hey, good game opponent. I forget if I dropped it right now, but also have an emote, buddy. That's a pretty fun looking list. That's pretty cool. Oh, I did not mean to do that. For some, my brain is like auto-completing tasks right now. No, don't do it again. Don't do it again. Almost exiled more cards out of my grave. Oh, man. Very cool list, opponent. No idea, man. Boros mid-range, I guess. Looks awesome, though. I love the Boonbringer Valkyrie. That was in our honorable mention, so... Right? I did include it in the honorable mentions. Now I'm second-guessing myself. Today's been... It's been one of those days, guys. It's been one of those days. Overall, I feel like we had some, like, just great utility on the board, man. So, yeah. There's some Serra Paragons. Those would have been good over just seeing the extra planes that we ended up seeing for a few turns in a row. It's not a bad hand. We do have 8 1-drops in here, guys. So there is a possibility where we maybe consider the mulligan to at least see one of them, but probably not. It's not that aggressive of a list, so... I think I'd rather the counter on the Selfless Samurai over the Sungold Sentinel. Sungold oh, I guess the spot removal for the Samurai is a little better than the Sentinel too, right? So... Okie dokies. Attempt Sungold Sentinel. Maybe we should have attempted Lookout first so we had 2 open for a Make Disappear. But I mean, now either way the Lookout comes down, but we lost the Sentinel then. So if we would have started Lookout, I think the Make Disappear would have just chilled in the opponent's hand, guys. I don't think they would have played that. Where now that the Sentinel's in the grave, we can eventually bring it back with the Paragon. So I think that worked out nicely. Yeah, they still got 2 mana open. Start with a swing. I'd rather the Sentry get countered, right? I'd rather the double Paragons. Aw, man. Playing around a counterspell that might not be in the hand, guys. Either way, they still had 2 mana open, so probably wouldn't have been worth the risk. Even though we have 2 of these. Sunfall number 1. Nothing on the board this time round that could deal with Sunfall, unfortunately. Paragon lands because they're tapped out, so probably right into the Selfless Samurai from the grave. Kayla's command's pretty good. Come on, guys. Come on, they have 2 cards in hand. They could also power up Incubator, too. We'll have Elspeth's Smite open, which unfortunately right now it's not doing too much again, but it's still solid, dude. Alright, Swooping Lookout lands on the board. Incubator gets powered up to a 3/3. Got some damage in the air, man. Power up means they don't have the second. Well, maybe they do, and they don't mind losing it and getting another Incubator. No, okay. Nice. Sungold Sentinel, number 2. Kayla's command. The target probably gets spot removed, but the spot removal probably isn't exile. It's probably like a go for the throat again, right? So, then we could go Selfless Samurai, protect it. Extra damage from the command could be really, really good. Alright, we're going for it. We're going for it. Actually, I'm going to grab a Plains too. Funny enough, now I want the 5th one, because I would not mind actually playing the Sungold back. Wow! Just a classic negate for the turn, guys. Well, that was really bad for us. Full swing, let's do this. The cool thing about Selfless Samurai is you don't have to tap it to use its ability, so... Elspeth Smite open to take out this 3/3. Or the 1/1 too. This has been happening a lot to the control list that I'm up against. Hey, GG opponent, they've been fizzling out, guys. I don't know what's been up, but like the control list that I've been up against just like run out of cards. I don't know if I'm getting lucky or if they're not running enough draw spells, but that's been happening a lot recently. As scary as the lists are, like, don't get me wrong, the lists are ridiculously scary. But yeah, at some point we start to get a little bit more confident when they're not seeing their Memory to Lose, their Silver Scrutiny. I've been seeing some of them run Teferis as their 5-drop to draw, which is a really scary Planeswalker. 24 land in here, should be fine. Yeah, dude, nice. Hopefully we see Mono Red today, too. I'd love to test this against Mono Red. Oh, buddy, Sleeper's a great target for Smite. I mean, not because of the exile or anything. I just mean they spend that extra mana on it. And we got that little bit of surprise removal. Invasion is here. Let's go Fleeting Spirit, because it actually has a chance to stick around. Right? They can't just drop a land, go for the throat, because if they do, we discard one of the sentries or something. If they swing... Okay, so they still have a blocker, so an Invasion, unfortunately. So this is still like a really good block for them. They can successfully swing here too, so... Land off the top would not be bad. Okay, look at us. Selfless Samurai is fine. If we swing and they block with Sleeper, we could go Elspeth Smite and save Fleeting Spirit back for the turn, but they still have Harvester then. Invasion of Gobakhan, swing at Gobakhan. See where they block and then go Elspeth Smite, save it for the turn. Maybe they discard the Harvester, try to take care of Spirit. I don't mind that. I also just don't mind the Annex Sentry either, though. Tough decisions. I kind of want to see their hand, though, as early as possible, so... Infernal Grasp, Lightning Strike, Trespasser. Ew. Ew. Okay, Trespasser. Make that a 5-mana card, gives us, like, an extra turn. And I don't mind this. They block with Sleeper, we take care of it with Smite. It ends up being a 1-mana card for a 1-mana card. Ah! Harvester. Nice. That's better. Because we have the Annex Sentry to pick up Sleeper if they end up... buffing the Sleeper at all. There's their 3rd mana. They can at least buff it once and keep open their, like, Lightning Strike and everything. And their Infernal Grasp. Keep the blocker. They don't want us to flip that at all, huh? We have Mishra's Foundry open since we saw the planes here. They have the instant speed removal with the Infernal Grasp to take the Sentry out is the problem. So I don't mind Selfless Samurai for the turn. Because that'll get them to target the Samurai with some of the spot removal. If they do this now too, I think we will get rid of one of the Sentries. Although this does look like the type of deck that runs like Liliana or something, which could be really bad. I think this is worthwhile, right? Keeping the creature alive. I was going to say, if they had extra mana, they could double down on it, but probably wouldn't be worth it. Samurai hits the board. I mean, it's too bad the Mishra's Foundry wasn't still open, because that would still be a relatively decent trade. No, probably not. Probably not. They buffed the Sleeper at the end here. I'd love to flip that Invasion, but dealing with a lot of these, it's going to be tough, for sure. Doesn't matter how much they buff Sleeper, Sentry can get it there. My hope is they waste that Infernal Grasp, but they'd want to hit, yeah, they'd want to hit the Samurai. It's been interesting scenarios, guys. Okay, Trespasser number 2. That's a pain in the butt, guys. It really, really is. It blocks so well. And the Annex Sentry obviously doesn't hit it well because we have to discard too, so... Alright. Passes back to me. Kayla's Command. Dude, nice. So if we... So they don't have the 2 open, so we could go Annex Sentry, pick up Sleeper, swing Fleeting Spirit into Invasion, and then we have the Selfless Samurai sacrifice, or... No, we don't have 3. I was going to say, if that top ability came into play again, how silly would that have been? Fleeting Spirit into Trespasser is actually just disgusting, man. Even though they would have the Infernal Grasp for Sentry next turn. Whoop, whoop. Be careful. I think this is worth it, dude. Sacrifice Selfless Samurai. get the Trespasser off, or just flip the Invasion if they don't block here. We could let the trade happen, keep Selfless Samurai available for the Sentry when they drop the Infernal Grasp. Could also... Nope, I'm doing this turn. If they want to hit Sentry, that's fine. Okay. The good news is the hidden card here wasn't a cut down. Risky plays all around, huh? Alright. So Infernal Grasp hitting the Annex Sentry gets them their Sleeper back. Sleeper still blocks Fleeting Spirit really well. Man, the chump blockers have been a pain for this deck, huh? Again, 8 flying 1-drops would have been huge this game, man. There's a reason we have 8 of them in here. They go for the Ob Nixilis, huh? Okay.
Shake down the locals.
I mean, that's a good blocker. We power up Mishra's Foundry. It's probably not Mishra's Foundry, though, right? It's probably Kayla's Command. Do we go wide here? Such a good trade for them, dude. If we go +1 counter on Spirit again, might be a little risky, but at least it has the double strike then, and so they wouldn't actually be able to kill it. I don't know, man. I'm probably going to go Spirit for a little bit wide. The Scry 2 could be pretty good too, but at this point, we are going to fool... Well, let's go you. 1 to Ob Nixilis, see where they actually end up blocking. Okay, they don't want us to flip the Invasion, so Ob is off the board. They get 1 damage here. It's not enough, though, so they probably just ping face, right? Okay, Ob is off the board. They still have the Infernal Grasp. We have 3 in the grave now that Kayla's Command is there, by the way, so we could have potentially given it first strike instead of... No, that still would have been a 3-1, so they still would have targeted it. 5-mana Trespasser, Invasion of Gobakhan. Coming in handy here, in other words, they would have had the 2 open for the Infernal Grasp still. Mage's Attendant, okay. Man, they are making this a chore to flip, huh? We full swing at it. I guess it finally flips, right? Probably go Mage's Attendant over anything else. They could block here, they could trade here, but we could also exile it. Dude, I don't even know. I really don't. Okay, so we finally get to flip this, and that is completely fine. Huzzah! Light Shield Array finally landing on this board state. And Mage's Attendant. Very nice, guys. Now Light Shield Array's ability is open, if we need that as well. Fauna still has 3 cards in hand, and Trespasser's still just as scary as ever, so... they want their Sleeper back. Hexproof Indestructible. Is it worth it already? They could easily pay the 1 for that. Alright, they get their Sleeper back. I don't think it's worthwhile to use the Light Shield Array there, guys. I just don't. I hope it's not, right? Because Sleeper can chump really well here too. I'd love to see some of our flyers, man. But those extra counters every turn are like... Might even power up Foundry. Even if we don't see anything else, we could power up Foundry pretty successfully. Yeah, dude. Kayla's Command. Wow. Okay. What do? Do we go double strike again? Probably, right? And probably continue to go wide here. And the double strike we could put onto the 1/1 if we want to make sure it trades well. If we want to swing with the 1/1, right? And the trades still work out kind of sort of in our favor. Sure, spreading this out seems like it's pretty good. Worst comes to worst too, if they have something crazy here, we still have the Light Shield Array. So the trade happens with the Spirit. Remember, the 2/2 has double strike, so it's not like they could power up Sleeper once and block successfully. I was hoping for a trade with the Sleeper too, to get these off the board. Okay. First strike. I can't believe we're actually using this ability, but like, first of all, I mean, it works, man. It works. First strike, bro. That's so, like, actually good, man. When I was going over the duck, when I was going over the, yeah, I'm sorry, guys. When I was going over the deck, I said we would never use that top ability, and then here we are. Go for the throat. Is it now worth using the Light Shield Array's ability? Probably. Probably, right? I know we're not getting the counter now, but I'm glad we waited the turn. That's totally fine, dude. Because they're losing a Trespasser. They have one card in hand. They're taking a good chunk of damage, and all they have is Sleeper on the board. We still have Mishra's Foundry, too. I think that was worthwhile. What do you guys think? I guess Liliana, wow. We'll get rid of our generic construct over here.
Suspicious is going on. And for once it's not my fault.
This is a pain, dude. We're really struggling getting through. Land. I should keep that in hand in case we have to exile this, huh? So they can get that to a 3/3 pretty easily. Which is probably the block here, right? Oh, I forgot to power up Foundry. They could trade here. That's a fine trade for us. Or take 5 to face. That's all completely fine. Yeah, we could have swung with Foundry this turn too, but up to a 3/3. If it's the trade for Spirit, it's a good trade. And they don't have the -2 for Liliana next turn. Oh! Down to 8. Do they see another Liliana off the top? Probably not, so I'm going to keep the planes in hand for the sake of the Fleeting Spirit. And we really, really should have swung with the Mishra's Foundry too. Hopefully we don't lose by 2 damage or something, right? Harvester off the top was good. Any, like, creatures is terrific for them. Mothrider Patrol. Yes, we do have to tap this for the ability, but... Alright, let's start full swinging. Regardless of where these trades happen, right? We gotta go, man. I just feel like up against Rakdos, there's so much they can see. So much, like, even just, like, simple spot removal off the top is gonna completely rip us apart, so... Luckily, the flying is finally gonna start helping us. Oh, man. Taking 7, yep, because we didn't swing with Foundry last turn. At least the trade is there, and then we have 1 in the air, and we have protection for the Fleeting Spirit. Alright, let's see it, opponent. Let's see the terrific draw, and they could always trade out with the blood token too, so... Alright, it's a land. What's gonna be on top? We still have 5 mana. GG, opponent. See, if it was like a burn down the house, we still could have exiled the Fleeting Spirit. And then it would have come back, and then they wouldn't have had anything here too, so... GG, buddy, GG. 44 minutes in? Are you kidding me, bro? Crap, man. Alright, well, unfortunately, I do have a little bit more to record today, but hey, this was a fun time, dude. We've done these underplayed in the past. I believe we did underplayed mono red for sure, and I kind of sort of forget if we did underplayed mono white before. But either way, here we are again with underplayed mono white. Pretty cool, man. Hey, MVP, Fleeting Spirit, pretty good, dude. Not bad, not bad at all, man. It really puts the opponents in a tricky situation often. I could totally see dropping the Sungold Sentinels for a couple more Fleeting Spirits. There's just like a huge problem though. Being only one toughness means all the chump blockers can take care of Fleeting Spirits. So you gotta be super careful with how you're attacking and when you're attacking. Seeing more of our flyers here, dude. 8 1-drop flyers. How many times did I bring it up this video? It really would have come in handy, man. I'll tell you what, being able to actually fly in would have been insane. And being able to fly in while Invasion of Gobakhan is actually flipped as the light shield array, getting those extra counters. Yeah, dude. Kayla's command was awesome. Mage's Attendant was cool, helping us go wide. Annex Sentry was awesome, dude. Serra Paragon, we did get to see a little bit. I would have liked to see it more. We didn't get to see Archangel Elspeth. Elspeth Smite obviously is good. We played with it in the past, you know. It's I called it underplayed for a reason. It's completely fine. And if you're up against a bunch of mono red, then it does do a lot against mono red. So it trades very nicely. Hitting 3 damage is no joke, man. The biggest concern then is you don't really want to plug this into like a Feldon, but Feldon is just a pain in the butt in general, right? So very cool. I like the double Mishra's Foundry. I like the Mirrex. This is all fine. The mana base was completely fine. Yeah, I'm sticking with it, man. These cards are underplayed. Again, the cards we see most often, Annex Sentry, because we see it in toxic builds. Even then, we don't really see the toxic builds too often. And I'm sticking to it as well. I actually think it's just underplayed outside of the toxic builds too, just not getting picked up by nearly as much as a Brutal Cathar. But obviously Brutal Cathar gets played more because it's a human too, which is something I didn't mention earlier, right? And Serra Paragon being like the next most played thing for sure. Like we definitely see Serra Paragon, but I still believe that it's so ridiculously strong that we just don't see it enough anyways, so. Very cool list, guys. I had a lot of fun with this one. I think obviously more testing's required. Could you climb with it? Probably not. Standard's ridiculous, dude. I have no idea. I realistically, I say it all the time. I don't really enjoy the ranking up process, the back and forth, putting weight on wins. I'm here to play and have fun, not here to win necessarily. Although obviously I try to win, right? But so it's really hard to say if you could actually rank up with underplayed cards. Potentially though, I think there's actually a decent amount of power here. I would have liked to see like the Selfless Samurai top ability come into play more with the lifelink, but realistically that comes into play more often when you're up against other aggro decks and stuff too. I think it would have been awesome to swing in with that patrol in the air, get a little life gain, and then have good blockers on the ground still and stuff. So I think honestly, dude, yeah, the main card I would potentially trade out is the Sungold Sentinel. And at that point, you could totally add cards that are actually played too. Like if you want more removal, Fateful Absence or something, you know what I mean? So, or like you want some protection, add a Skrelv. And the Skrelv would be totally fine because it also works with extra toxic if it ever comes down to actually getting the 10 poison counters, which I don't think it would, but yeah, Skrelv could be an interesting addition. Obviously played a lot, so it doesn't fit the underplayed theme. Guys, if you made it all the way through this video with all my rambling, I'll tell you what, it really was a hard deck to talk about and comment on because we just don't see these cards. Like they're when we're actually playing with cards that we see all the time, for some reason, I mean, not for some reason, it's pretty obvious, but yeah, it's a lot easier to talk about. Like we can actually like make better commentary, I suppose. Yeah, today this was a tough one for sure. So if you made it this far, y'all are champions for real. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next video.